guys, welcome to LG Overdrive. This is episode 5. This is the trade deadline edition. I am the host, the Young Buck. With us, we have Dudley Do Right.
Hi, I'm back. I did not get deported, and my flavor saver's gotten bigger.
Oh, Lord. Also with us, we have Notorious Fat.
Oh, greetings and salutations, AHL.
So we actually have kind of a small panel today. Looks like Fourth Line's too busy playing SNP with the boys, and Risto is too busy to be out with the boys. So
I have a theory. Risto is probably killing someone.
It's the quiet
He's
ones.
a minor, I doubt it.
It's the quiet ones. You have to watch out for them.
That is true.
That is very true. And then we don't have Faces. He's just unresponsive. He's probably doing something special that has to do with school, since school just started up for him again.
Okay.
And well, Salty, it's his birthday weekend, so we're giving that one to him.
Happy birthday, Salty.
Happy birthday, Salty. By all
I
means,
hope it's a salty birthday.
get Salty. If you're going to see this, please give some of your beard hair to Notorious. He needs it. His wife keeps thinking he's a kid at the school when he picks up their kids. So.
Oh, geez, the chirps are coming from Dudley this week. They're not coming from
Chirping
Salty.
my own
I
EGM.
like
I
it.
don't know why. I don't get it, but whatever.
All right, we're going to kick it off this week. We're going to send it to Notorious in a moment when he's not busy for Life in the Cage.
No, I'm not too busy to do Life in the Cage. I'm here every week, just like I am.
Oh, wait, I like your backdrop, by the way.
Oh, you like this, eh? Just supporting
do.
some of my favorite teams. Go Manitoba.
Jeez.
Oh,
Just-
team.
just-
Sorry, team. My favorite team.
Yeah.
Go Manitoba.
Okay.
All right, so Life in the Cage, week 6. We've got studs, duds, and another cockhammer.
Oh, no.
So this,
Do we have the new fancy Gobbler Award?
we did do the Gobbler Award.
Oh.
Gobble, 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 gobble.
Thank you, Dudley. Great sound effects, by the way. You're hired. Okay,
Oh,
so
Lord.
we'll start off with everybody's favorites, the studs. This week in the studs, really big surprise here. I shit on him last week. I think I put the cockhammer on him, but Mastodon 31 had a really good week. Now he went 3-1-0 at a 92.8 save percentage and a 1.25 goals against with the Toronto Marlies. He's still with them. Like, he didn't switch teams. He did that with the Toronto Marlies. So that's pretty impressive on its own. He started the week with a 10-save shutout over the San Jose Barracuda. He had 2 goals against on 24 shots versus Texas in a loss. 17-save performance in a 2-1 win versus Ontario. And he shut down the Condors in a 17-save 2-goal against show. So that's pretty good. That is the prototypical way to respond from a shitty week. So if you rewind to week 5 when I was talking about his 2-4-9 16-goal performance, this is the complete opposite. So congratulations to you, Mastodon. I accept all the praise for turning it around for you. It's a great honor, and I'm just here to help. I'm here to make dreams come true. So congratulations, great week. You're our stud this week. Moving on from there, you have the polar opposite, which is our dud. Our dud who gets to wear the lovely paper bag. Oh, yes.
Jeez.
His name's been added to the bag already. So on the bag this week for week 6 is a man by the name of Adidot88. Now, if anybody remembers Adidot88 from last year, if I'm mispronouncing your name, I don't fucking care. Because last year you had a really good year. You seem to be hiding there on Albany and seem to be getting a lot of support. Doesn't seem to be going the same way this year. You went 1-3-1 this week with a 66.2% save percent and a 4.16 goals against average. It's not too bad, but it was pretty boopy. So you're getting the paper bag. During the week, you had a 3-2 overtime loss to the Wild. Allowed 7 goals against with Rockford. Grabbed a win versus Colorado, 3-2, and finished the week with 2 losses. A 3-1 loss to Chicago, and also you had your poop pushed in by Cleveland in a 7-2, making 5 saves on 12 shots. 5 saves on 12 shots. That's going to ruin anybody's week.
That's
So for that performance, you get the dud this week, and before I mentioned, the lovely paper bag, which I will be mailing to you. I just need your address. Please PM me that, and I'll get this off to you right away. You can wear it for the week. And moving right along, moving on to the Cockhammer this week. Cockhammer this week, doing something a little bit different. I don't usually talk about a guy who does some ECUing. Generally, it's a roster guy. But this was real special. Like, I saw these stats, and I was just really impressed with them. So Magic X Twitch. Actually forget who he's with. I think it's Rockford. I think he's with Rockford. He went 0-2-0 this week, and the numbers are real spectacular. 45% on the saves and a 7.37 goals against average. So,
oh boy.
So with numbers like that, I could have easily put the bag of shame on you, just like I did for Adidot. But the problem is Adidot's ego doesn't allow for any more room in there. So I could not wedge another head inside that bag. So we'll just leave it on him, and we'll just move on. So let me tell you about anybody out there who watches our show, you may be in the CHL right now. You know, there might be a few guys that are in CHL. They like to keep up with what's going on in the AHL. Maybe they have aspirations to move up. So this what you're seeing here with Magic X Twitch is an example of how not to start your AHL career. This is what you should not be doing. He seemingly did everything right. He has a solid CHL numbers this year. He's got a 14-4-2 record down there. He's 80.9 save percent and a 2.62 goals against. Those numbers did not translate to the AHL. So I don't know if Rockford was just not playing in front of him, or if he was scared, or the moment was too much for him. But yeah, going 0-2 with 45 save percent and a 7.37 goals against average is not great. He did get beat by Wilkes-Barre Scranton 5-3, so that's not bad. That's a good team. He lost to San Diego 6-1, also not great. But that kind of stuff happens. But allowing 11 goals on 20 shots, well, that sure gets you a cockhammer. So enjoy having your dick squashed, because that is what is happening this week. And go ahead, Buck.
For anyone wondering why 11 goals translates to a 7 goals against average as well, the fact that he rage quit out of the game against San Diego 23 minutes into the game or something like that.
Oh, well, that's some additional information I did not have. So I'm probably going to go on a limb and say that is probably near the end of your AHL career.
Because
it was good. It was good while it lasted. So, yeah, that's great.
Wow.
Definitely squashing his cock with that hammer.
Yeah. So you got to play, you got to quit, you got your dick squashed, and you head back to the CHL with your tail between your legs. That's great.
Yeah. It sounds accurate. I just want to mention, because we can't do it, but a good choice for, or a nomination or a shout out for a Gobbler Award. This is coming from another person who sent it in last week. Was towards me, facing 114 shots in 5 games this week. That comes up to an average of 22.8 shots against a game.
Goodness gracious.
I still pulled off a record of 3-2 with an 83.8 save percentage, thankfully. My goals against average is still like a 3.5.
That's still better than what mine is, so I'm not judging.
Yeah,
So is this just going to be the show where we just be miserable and make fun of people's stats? Because I feel like we're just talking about everybody sucking.
Oh yeah, well that's what I do. Like it's kind of my thing. We can bring some levity to it very soon though.
Ah, I see. Okay.
We'll lighten it up.
How many weeks are left? What, 3?
3 more weeks. Well, for us. For us. For Tucson, there's 3 weeks left.
Yes.
For a lot of other teams, there's more weeks coming because they'll have playoffs and stuff. But yeah,
that's right. They have to play over the holiday. Wow.
Yeah, I've never played more than 9 weeks. 9 weeks is all I can bear to play.
Oh, see, now you're making me feel bad. Jeez, thanks.
I do 9 weeks, and then I'm just like, that's probably enough. The playoffs probably aren't that much fun.
It's kind of like a short-term prison sentence, pretty much.
Yeah, I don't do that.
Once your 9 weeks are over, you can just turn around. You can take one of those jerseys off the wall and put it on and cheer on Manitoba for.
That's what I'm gonna do. I'm going to stretch one of my children's very tiny little jerseys over me, and I'm just going to watch streams of the Manitoba games.
A guy that lives
watch
in Winnipeg
the team that I helped create.
Doesn't have a Manitoba Moose jersey?
I don't have a Jets jersey, but
not a Moose jersey.
Some fan you are. Okay.
All right. So we're going to toss it over to Dudley, who's got a very special edition of Top 10 this week.
Okay. All right. So a lot of people really don't know this. It's surprisingly crazy how much people don't know about this, and I don't think people particularly care. But at least for us, we have a media director, or we used to have one at least, and his name was. Am I allowed to say his name?
Yeah, go for it. I don't care.
Okay, Karoxy. Okay, he is the owner in the CHL of the Huskies?
Yeah, the
Rwanda Huskies. Okay. So at the beginning of the season, as we were garnering all this, info on how to start and this and that and the fourth and whatever, this guy was supposed to be the guy. He was supposed to be, we're gonna do things and this and that and the fourth, and we're gonna take this media to the next level. And apparently it didn't happen because he went missing in action. So, you had a better chance of finding Jimmy Hoffa's body than you did finding this guy.
Maybe he thought bringing it to the next level was like bringing it down a level instead of bringing it up a level.
Probably.
Maybe that's what he was talking like, I'm going to bring it to the next level.
Maybe he was just trying to troll us or bring our expectations really high. And my heart hurts because I was expecting a lot of things. But so now that you know this context, this top 10 is called Top 10 Reasons Why Our Media Director Vanished. Here we go. Drum roll, please. Number 10. Thank you. Top 10 reasons why our media director vanished. Number 10, he forgot to reinstall Firefox. Number 9, he sent all of his life savings to the deposed son of the king of Nigeria. Number 8, arrested for colluding with Russian officials on the LG hack. Number 7, decided to pursue his real-life passion and work for a mid-sized paper company. Number 6, what are computers? Number 5, Windows Paint no longer supported. Number 4, shot his eye out shooting his official Red Ryder Carbon Action 200 shotgun range model air rifle. Number 3, went searching far and wide for his long-lost LG shirt and never came back. Number 2, Karoxy is the only Amish person who had internet access, but it got taken away. Damn it, Jebediah, you messed us up. And the number 1 reason why our media director vanished, drum roll, please. He deleted System 32.
God, why
it's a lot.
such a thing?
It's a lot different when it's just us 3, because normally I have my headphones on and I can hear somebody chuckling. It really reminds me of when I used to do my stand-up sets and nobody laughed. So, thanks.
There's the laugh. There's the laugh, Dudley.
Yes, self-depreciating humor always gets a laugh, doesn't it?
I wish I was there.
Oh. No, you don't.
Oh.
Also, we have a very special shout-out from Salty for Karoxy. It was the fact that it took Karoxy 8 weeks to let us know that he was not going to send us the Photoshop document for us to be able to do a proper intro video for Overdrive.
Wait, but doesn't that take like 5 minutes to do?
So he had made it 2 weeks before the season, and all he had to do was send the file to Faces. Simple enough. It took him it would take you 30 seconds to send the file.
Yeah.
He blamed it on not doing it because he had a new job. He was too busy owning his CHL team. That isn't really good anyway. It's the third of the division.
Yeah. Right.
And all this other stuff. And it's like, dude, we've messaged you several times a week, tagged you. It got to the point where we messaged him on LG with Brody in it. And he was like, Brody's like, what's going on? Just send him the file. So shout out to you for not doing that. But a special shout out to Crispy Creamer, who stepped up. We literally asked if he could make a PSD file for us.
He did it the same day.
Within 3 hours, he had edited it, sent in one, asked us for if he could make it better in any way. We did, he did, and then he sent it in, and we have it. So
That's a good Tucson boy, eh? That's a good Tucson boy.
That's right. Well, he's Arizona's problem now. So
yeah, it's true.
Also, in lieu of Salty not being here this week, we do have one Salty shout out coming directly from Salty himself, and this is towards our owner, Poopy Snoopy.
Oh gosh. Oh.
Put my seatbelt on.
Give me a second. He says, I would like to personally shout out Snoopy for every week sarcastically grieving about not getting a shout out, which was one of the stipulations of us taking management in Bakersfield. Well, Snoopy, here's your shout out for this week. At least one of us held true to our word to each other.
What a plug.
So that is all for Salty shoutouts this week. Moving on, it's trade deadline this weekend.
Yes.
Yes, it is. Have you guys been making many deals? You guys, Tucson.
Kind of, sort of. I mean, at this point, Notorious has kind of taken the head on some of those trades because it seems like he has a greater insight. No, but, hey, he wanted the experience. Here it is. But one of the things that I do happen to agree with him on, at least with the state of our team, since we are practically, we've been out of the playoffs for like the past 5 weeks, is we're getting players, even though it wasn't being funny, but if that's funny, then fine. But, considering that we're still running the team, we're still here, we still have a very active roster, so we can at least take that to the end. But the one thing we have to consider is, sometimes people won't show up, people will flake because we're not in the best position. I honestly think we've put together a decent group over the last couple of weeks for people that will actually show up and play. I give Notorious a lot of credit for bringing a lot of these guys in, and I'm very pleased at the results to trying to salvage the rest of the season. But for anyone who has a bad team, quote unquote, the best thing you can honestly do is just play it out and find people that can show up and can play. And we've been doing a lot of that. And the one thing we want to make sure is that we get people to come and play. That's it. So as far as us, we've dealt a couple of people who said they wanted to go. We didn't give them any problem, any fuss, and we were able to get players back in return. And hopefully these next 3 weeks, people can just show up and make it out. So we've made a lot of trades to get people to come and play, just so that maybe we can get their shot, maybe a scouting, potential scouting. These are like scouting games now for the future.
Essentially, we're giving them a platform right now. You got 3 weeks to show us what you got. Maybe someone else will play against us. He'll see what you got, and he wants to draft you or whatever, right? So there's a lot of opportunity in Tucson right now. It may not feel like an opportunity, but the fact is we're not losing games badly for the most part. We've lost a couple of games by like 5 and 6 goals. It happens to everybody.
It happens to everybody.
But most of our games are within 1 and 2 goals. I think if I read the stat right earlier this week, we lost 16 games in the first 6 weeks by 1 goal.
Mm-hmm.
So you take those 16 games and you flip them over. We're in the hunt right now.
Yeah. So the problem with what happened, and I'm not saying this to cover our butts, because there are, we haven't played as well as we wanted to, but the record isn't indicative of the people, of the management, and the talent. It's one of those things where nothing has gone right. Really.
We are also in a very, very difficult division.
Yeah, so, it's difficult where, and I'm not saying that we're trying to justify or, we're happy with losing, but if you look at, there's a difference between what is it, Charlotte, that they're just bad now because of mismanagement. Look at what happened to us. We just had no luck. I'm serious. If you actually see some of the games that we had, we've played very well, outpossessed, out time on attack, you name it, a lot. Like you said, 16 games with 1 goal as a loss. Come on, that's ridiculous.
Hey,
that's just no
number one power play in the AHL right here in Tucson.
Second last in the league, though.
Yep. Go figure that out.
Oh, just to add to that, going into real life NHL, the Boston Bruins one year, I think the year they made it to the Stanley Cup final, had like a 7% power play percentage. It was so bad. Oh, they even brought in Thomas Cabriolet to make it better, but they couldn't do it. So, like I said, going back to trades, we've just tried to get people to come and show up. And if you are a bad team who's having a problem with people quitting, except for the Marlies because they're just arrogant, just get people that you'll know to show up and play. 3 weeks you can fill it up with ECUs in the CHL like nothing. And as long as you can do that and as long as you're there, I mean, you're not going to have a problem. It's the easiest thing to do in the world. None of this stuff is really hard,
And to sort of piggyback on what you're saying, Dudley, as well, we know as well, and I don't know if anybody else knows, but our NHL team as well has had some struggles this year. They have more sound effects. Thank you, Dudley. So we've been feeding them as well, and that's what you're supposed to do as an AHL team. You're feeding your NHL, but they've had some difficulties up there as well with management, and I believe the owner quit and everything. So we're doing the best we can as well to make sure those shelves are stocked for them as well. So
I can say it's practically the same at this point as Bakersfield. We're 16 points out of the playoffs. Our NHL team is very in a similar predicament up there, and then. So we had a lot of top talent players on our team all season long. We just couldn't string consistent wins back to back that we should have been.
Mm-hmm.
So at this point, it's the same thing as you guys. We're just finding guys who want to play here.
Yeah.
And all those top talent players, we're trying to send them to playoff teams so that they deserve the chance that they do deserve. And they get that chance on a playoff team. So like we've sent like players like Fox, Sanctify, Grocery Stick, Swiss, Shorty, all these top guys that are well known and really good players to teams that they'll have a chance to win the cup on. So,
by the way, let me just also add to, if you are on a bad team, okay, and you don't want to play for a bad team, don't quit. Tell us politely, and then we'll probably move you. Don't give us a fit. And don't try and dictate the way we play, and then don't back up that play by not doing it. I mean, just if you don't want to play here, say, hey, if you can move me, that'd be great. I've had a couple people come to me like that. Sure. I've had a couple other people come to me in kind of a rude way, and, managers don't appreciate that. It's bad enough that we have to, it's bad enough the team isn't great. Okay?
Yeah.
Well, we're human. We don't put together good teams every year. Not everyone's going to put a solid team together every year. Even the best have failed. But just be respectful. That's it. Honestly, make our lives a lot easier.
You can just get moved to another bad team, and that's a ring.
Yeah. Hey. I mean, not that we're gonna trade anyone out of spite. Wink, wink. Tug. So.
Yeah, not everyone can be like fourth line and putting together President's Cup team every season.
Yeah, that guy's amazing. I don't know how he does it, but he's awesome. And
it's that juice that he puts into his hand.
It is. I'll go find the syringe later. We'll inject my hand again. But it did just while you brought up his name, and I know a lot of people are upset with the deal I did with Manitoba this past week for Riemersma sending him there. And everyone's like, "Oh, you should have buried him in the TC." And
no, that's wrong. He's gonna play. You can't just bury someone because they didn't want to play somewhere.
Yeah, and he, I got 3 good TC players that we can use, and we will use. So
this is my thing for us. Okay, so this is my thing. Okay, you just touched upon it, and I mentioned it before. We're not in the greatest position right now. Fine, I get it. You don't have to keep reminding us. We know, okay? But there's certain people that when you get them that they're not going to play, so they get flipped. So Reimers didn't want to play for the NHL Coyotes anymore. Okay, fine. That's their problem. We weren't going to bring him in a worse situation and have him try and play for us because then he wouldn't have played for us. So it would have just been a predicament on our hands. So we did the best thing and tried to get some value for it. Criticize the trade all you want. We ended up on the better end because we got value. That's it. Really.
Yeah.
And Evan was very proactive in coming after me to get that deal done. There was one other team. I don't even know if it's right to say or not, but there was another team that was kicking tires, so I won't say anything. But there's a lot of other guys who were, beaking off in the chat box about it. And you know what? If it meant that much to you, you would have been knocking on my door too. If you wanted that guy bad enough, or you feel like he's that big a game changer, you would have been knocking on my door and you would have asked me for him. You didn't.
I think it was just more the fact that you guys sent him to the top team in the league when he is a top AHL player.
There's a reason why they're the top team.
Yeah, but that's also the same argument can be applied for allowing Bryson to be management in the AHL again. He's an NHL player. People were up in arms on why he was management again in the AHL, but Brody deemed it that it was okay. So we're trading a player who doesn't want to play in one place, and we got value in return. What's the problem? It's not like no one's gonna want to give us one of their top players to a team that's not contending. It doesn't make sense. Yeah. So at the end of the day, baby's backed into a corner, and you have to find some value for it.
Yeah.
My conscience is clean. If anybody is still upset about it, you can be upset about it. You can send me a PM. You can say what you want in the chat box, but I don't care.
Rocks. Tell them to kick rocks. Piss or get off the pot.
I don't care. So I'm happy with it. We're, as a team, happy with it. So
3 more weeks. Come on. What's the outcry?
And I'll get my Calder Cup ring when Evan wins. So that's good.
Yeah, I should get one too.
So yeah. Speaking of deadline now, I've noticed that a lot of the trades so far have been NHL deals. Like a good 70% of the deals have been part of NHL trade. So what do you guys think about that?
Well, I know.
Take this one first. Sorry.
Yeah, I know. With the Arizona, they've had a few trades that I've had to process through for them because they're trying to fill a roster, right? So they've got a lot of guys that are, jumping ship to try and move somewhere else. So they've had to make some deals, and they're bringing up guys that maybe are not super well known, but they're getting a chance to play in the NHL. They have the ability, they have the level required to play there, so they're getting a shot. So I know for us with Arizona, they've made a few, but that's the reason they're doing it. The rest of the other ones, I'm not sure what's going on with those. Why there seems to be a real increase in NHL trades, like tag-on trades, but for us, it's mostly for filling a roster. They were really depleted. So
yeah.
Well, another thing to add on to that is, it seemed these trades are kind of indicative of how the AHL is right now. People aren't, especially with the game just coming out, people aren't really willing to give their players up. So a lot of these deals are primarily NHL trades because teams need players. So you don't see a big trade coming in for a bunch of guys. It's, the deals kind of have to match. No one's really, I don't know. It's just, there wasn't a lot of like AHL for AHL, with the exception of like Shorty and Swiss and all that. But, a lot of it is because people are pretty much satisfied with their teams. And, before in previous seasons, you would have just tons of roster shuffles right before the deadline.
Big deals too, like big numbers, like 5 and 6 guys going in each direction.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
it's a lot of tweaking, like a lot of, missing parts. One for 2 and 1 for 1 and that kind of stuff.
But you don't see a lot of that now because apparently the game is people have found the right people to play the game, and it seems like they've struck gold. It was kind of like when you went into bidding this season. You didn't really know what to expect, and we were the ones that got bit hard with that because if you look at our roster for if you look at the roster we put together for Tucson in NHL 17, more than likely that team wins because the game was different. So we knew how those players played with the certain games. 18 came out, it was kind of a crapshoot. The poke checks were different. It's a different game, so we're kind of gambling on trying to see whether this person can play. Well, now that throughout the season, people were able to find out who these players were, who can play 18, then they weren't in such a rush to make big moves at the deadline. So that's why it's just a lot of NHL compensations and all that.
Well, yeah, like for the NHL, there's also a lot of guys like GMs waking up and then the management had to be like, hey, my NHL traded away my top player overnight. Like, what happened? And like, well, your NHL needed 3 draft picks. They got 3 draft picks. They asked us what we wanted, and this is what they wanted. So,
yeah,
sorry, not sorry. Like, you guys aren't willing to trade, and I feel like a lot, like as you said, management this season are not trading, and the owners are willing to move picks around for next season because at this point it's build for next season because you know how the game is like, you know how some players play this game, so you want to build up. Like I know for myself, Snoopy already has 11 or 12 draft picks. He has 5 first-round picks. So
jeez,
Going to Vatican.
goodness gracious.
But if you look, Vadi did that, but San Diego's doing really well.
Yeah, no, he
Yeah.
doing that. That was one of the things at the beginning of the year. People were shitting all over him, saying, "Oh, that's going to be a disaster." A lot of people were picking them to finish last. That's okay. We got it. We got last. But a lot of people were picking them to finish last. But they're doing really well. Like that was a well played game plan. I don't know how he's doing in the NHL, but the AHL team is succeeding, and that's, I guess, what he was trying to do.
Yeah. So I know his AHL team is doing a lot better than his NHL team, but again, that division, even the NHL, it's a little weaker than ours. I find ours is a hell of a lot harder than theirs is.
Well,
but
the West in the AHL is just stronger in general. You know, it was kind of like last season, the last couple seasons, the West has just been insane. You know, when I was the GM of Grand Rapids was when AGM of Grand Rapids rather. That's when the West was at its peak. That West Central, Bakersfield was ahead of us, and we had a good team. We really had a very good team in Grand Rapids. But we were so buried. Like if we had played in the East with that team, easy. I'm talking about easy playoff spot. And then the following season in Manitoba, same thing. The same thing.
Those stories happen every year, though. Every year, there's a team that.
Yeah, it just so happens. It just happens to me more often than not.
Well,
this happens to me more often than not. So.
Yeah, like what I'm saying, like our division is really tough. You look at the same division in the NHL, you've got San Jose with 79 points in first. Then it drops off. You have LA with 56. Then you have a 3-way tie at 52 with Calgary, Vancouver, and Anaheim. Then Vegas has 51, and then there's another drop down to Edmonton at 39. So there's 5 teams within 5 points between second and sixth, and then there's one team way up at the top, and then there's 2 way down at the bottom. Edmonton and Arizona. So
yeah,
it just shows like how bad it is down there, up there too. Like the division is tough. Well, it's really, really shitty. It just makes us look a lot harder.
Yeah.
Sort of on a side note as well. Correct me if I'm wrong, but is there a lot more GMs, AGMs, or whatever quitting this year?
Wrong.
It seems like there's a lot of NHL meddling that is causing a lot of these guys to lose their shit and walk away.
Well, a couple seasons ago, it kind of seems like this sort of thing happens every couple of seasons. I want to say season 24, something like this happened, right? Season 24. I'm trying to remember who. Oh,
Dallas.
Yeah. That's right.
Yeah, Dallas and Texas. Yeah, I know. It was a mean pivot. We got absolutely slammed by Dallas.
I'm trying to remember. There was a couple other times that it happened that I do remember. It's just not common to me right now. But yeah, there was one season. I think was it Pure Talent was the GM.
That was season 26, Rochester.
Yeah, season 26. He got booted. There was one season in particular, I'm trying to remember. It might have been season 24, the season you're referring to, but there was a couple of GMs. We had a couple of CHL guys take AHL management, and I think Titus had made a prediction. Someone had made a prediction that half of these guys were going to be gone, and the prediction was almost close, So I think it was, I think it was a couple seasons ago. But yeah, to your point, it seems like the game is unpopular, so people are quitting because it for some reason, and to a certain extent, I can understand. But you don't see me quitting.
It can be frustrating, like playing a game the way it is currently made. It is frustrating, right? Like, but it's frustrating for everybody. It's just really a matter of what your level of shitty tolerance is, right? Some people can handle a little more shitty than other guys.
Right.
And there's competition. You know, there's a new Call of Duty game, and there's Fortnite. Everybody's playing Fortnite. Like, you know, it's competition as well, right? So would you rather be frustrated playing NHL every night, or you want to go play Call of Duty?
Yeah,
you know, so
no, that's true.
I think another big thing this season is that a lot of AHL managers are experienced AHL managers, and a lot of NHL owners are a lot newer. And we have dealt with the bullshit before. We've tolerated it. We've tried to communicate, but there's a lot of miscommunication or no communication whatsoever between the NHL and the AHL this season. And as soon as they pillage the AHL team, the AHL guys are like, we've done this before. We're not doing it again. We're gone.
Yeah, no, and to a certain extent, that's understandable because it actually almost happened to us, but, you know, Notorious and I were insistent, and we were going to riot if it were to happen.
It almost happened to us as well, yeah.
You know, I understand that we're conduits for the NHL, but we're our own separate team, so trying to pillage us doesn't make the situation any better, because then even though the team may not be great, you might be messing with something, and it just makes it all worse. That's why, you know, we had a recent blow up with the NHL team, and I didn't try and talk too much because let's just say if I did, it wouldn't have been friendly, you know. But you know, they tried to. They were thinking about taking a couple of players from us, and they actually wanted us to run the team for them. And I said, no, no, not at all. First of all, I'm not leaving Notorious by himself. And secondly, there's no benefit for me in doing it. You know, it's not my problem. You know, we were on every night for them to message us about ECUs, and we didn't hear a peep. You know, there's no communication. So it's just ridiculous.
A good example of that would be the whole Yargich situation with Lehigh Valley. Like, he would disappear for the weekends, come back like mid-Sunday, and then just destroy Lehigh Valley. Like what happened with Shut the Gate week 2. Then he slowly started doing it. He was gone all of week 4 or 5, like management duty-wise. Expected his NHL management to run the team. They did. And then he comes back and just absolutely pillaged Lehigh, and Lehigh was like, yep, we're not taking none of this. Horvat quit. Darcy traded every top player that he could to teams that had a chance to make the playoffs still. And he says, well, if it's worth a no management list because my owner fucked our team over, well, too bad, so sad, I'll take it.
And the thing is, there's no real, you know, obviously, and I'm not trying to say this to cause controversy, but obviously the NHL is more competitive since it's close-knit, you know, it's the boys club. So it's going to be preferred, you know. AHL isn't as preferred as the AHL. Now, I'm not saying that the AHL is being neglected in any way, but if you were to put the website on kind of like if you were trying to promote the website, you would promote the NHL. And I get it because they have a lot of the top talent players in EA Sports Hockey League. But the one thing that the problem there is that a lot of that goes to a lot of the NHL owners' heads, and there's no real security for a team that gets pillaged in the AHL after pretty much the AHL people do the same exact thing. Sometimes they do it even better, you know, in terms of building a team together. And it kind of seems like they kind of get, I don't want to say preferential treatment, but it's just more if they get the benefit. They get the benefit of the doubt when it comes to that.
The thing is, though, in the AHL, we are a feeder league. We are supposed to be feeding the NHL, and that's fine. I accept that, but there's a way to go about it, right? If you just walk in and start flexing your internet muscles and start saying, hey, I'm taking this guy, and this guy, people are going to be pissed.
Of course.
Right? But if you go to them and say, here's my situation, the NHL owner guy, and I'm like, I got a situation. I need a left winger. I got a guy who quit on me. You know, who could you help me out with? That's going to go a lot further, right? I'm gonna be like, yeah, I can help you. I got this guy and this guy. I'm not really using this guy. You know, like
basic communication skills. That's it.
Yeah. It's just talk. Like, just communicate.
When you pillage a team, it's like, what happened to your NHL team that you're suddenly pillaging my team and taking 8 of my players?
Yeah, exactly.
It's like 8 of your players quit. Did you just trade them off for nothing? Like, you need to.
If you're having to take 8 players, you fucked up.
And
like, you fucked something up.
And this goes
own it and come to the HL with your tail between your legs and say, listen, I really screwed up. My guys are walking out on me. I really need help. Can you help me out?
Now, if you think about it, once you go past that, now you go to the root of the problem is and I don't know how the process is, and this is more of just it's kind of an inquiry and a statement at the same time, if that's even a thing. But outside of talent, how the process of selecting owners, how rigorous is it? I know they want to fill spots, but
yeah,
what kind of vetting process do some of these guys go through? Because it kind of seems like this problem happens every season. And not to say that it's impossible, that, it's never going to be prevented, but it kind of seems like whenever it does happen, it happens to more than one team. So now you go to yourself and you question the higher ups, and it's not a questioning where it's bad. You just want to put them to task. You say, how do you vet these guys? What's going on? How do you, give them the criteria to do something like that? In all honesty, I could run an NHL team. I know who's good. I can put an NHL team together. I've done it before in the past. It's not hard, but I choose not to because I just don't want to be in the NHL. Granted, my talent, whatever, fine. I know I'm not an NHL first liner. Obviously not. I could play in the NHL. Yes, I can. I've done it before.
There's other guys running NHL teams that don't have NHL talent. So
exactly, but again, Brody says it himself in a lot of the things that I've seen him do. Your team's not that good, just at least still have him show up, and in that I agree with him. It's easy, common, simple decency. Just not hard to get a group of 6 together. Use the tools in the website. So the problem that happens in the AHL needs to be addressed in the NHL with who are we picking as owners.
Yeah.
Yep.
So,
and then finally, I'm just gonna move on to our next subject here because we've been on trade deadline for a while.
Content, my man.
We're coming up on All-Star Weekend. So we just passed trade deadline. Well, it's still going on, but we're passing it. And I decided this year, because last year we had the controversy of it being Black Friday, Thanksgiving, trade deadline all at once. So I wanted to move it past that. So we're going to do it on Thursday. So at the moment, the PMs have been sent out to all AHL GMs, asking them to nominate their 6 players or up to 6 players to possibly play in the All-Star game. So right now, until game time on Monday, all 31 GMs have the chance to nominate their players. At that point, on Monday when games start, the top 4 teams and top teams in each division, so the 4 teams, their GMs will be locked in as the All-Star captains, and then they'll be getting a PM from myself with all the roster players from the other teams, and then they'll be picking their teams. Games are happening on Thursday at 9, 9:45, and 10:30. That allows 45 minutes time for streaming if there's lagouts whatsoever, and it allows GMs time to put their team together.
Was there any discussion, Buck, about doing any sort of commentary during those games as well, like a presentation of some sort?
I haven't gotten together with anyone about commentary. I know Rista did some of it last year with Pivot. I also know Bryson did some commentary last week on the Stockton Manitoba game that went to triple overtime.
Mm-hmm.
So I think maybe for this one, for the All-Star, because we're running it, I'm going to try and see if Bryson is interested in doing some commentary. That way we can put the teams together for this, because it's all the AHL that's combined for the All-Star game, right? So
I think that's a good idea.
For the both media teams to get together and work together to put some commentary out. I know Risto was good at it last year. If him and one of Bryson's guys, or him and Bryson, or someone want to do commentary on the games, I think that'd be wicked.
That'd be really good.
It's more content for not just us; it's content for Bryson too. So it looks good for both of us, and we're not.
I'm just gonna put this out there too. I'm gonna put this out there too. If anyone needs play-by-play, I'm your man. I can do play-by-play. I used to do play. It's funny that's mentioned because when F5 Penguin was the media director, we had spoken about this, but I really don't have the capabilities to do it personally. But if there's any way that I could interconnect with someone to do something like that, and I have the time for it, I'll do it because I like doing play-by-play. I've done play-by-play before in the past as a job, so it's not hard. you know. So I'm just putting that out there. You know, I'm a whore. So
You just like being out there, don't you, Dudley?
He's out there, man.
All right. But yeah, that's all I had for All Stars. So the teams should be picked, and like we should know the teams by Wednesday afternoon. That gives the players a full like 24 hours to know in advance. But the All Star captains, so like the four GMs of the teams there, they're going to be choosing 9 players. They're going to have their set 6 and then 3 CUs. So 1 forward, 1 D man, and 1 goalie. But they're going to pick as a spare. So they'll have extras just in case. So, but there's 2 awards this year. You get a nomination award and you get a participation award. So everyone's going to be getting trophies now.
yay, participation trophies! Yay!
Do you guys have any other shoutouts for this week before we get in the show?
I don't know if I have a shout out so much. Just a hey, how you doing to all the haters. Keep hating. I love it.
Hating on what?
Yeah, the haters.
That's a very vague and general statement.
Well, I want to be inclusive. I want to include all the haters.
That's fair.
Yeah.
All the haters.
Let me see. I want to give a shout out to Huddy for no apparent reason whatsoever.
He got you this week, eh?
He hasn't even messaged me. He asked me to do it one time before. I'm just doing it out of random. See if he's actually paying attention or if he's even awake. Kid's like 5. I'll give a shout out to McKnight because he thinks he's good and he thought that he carried me in that one win that was really good, but in reality, I was the one that started the play and he just picked up the garbage. So GG. And a shout out to Faces for going off the face of the earth, not being around, and a shout out to Karaxi for
not ever doing anything.
I'll just leave it at that.
I'll send one out as well to Grandpa Puff. I got the bucket of chicken and the movie waiting. Just let me know when you're ready.
Yeah. Also to Grandpa Puff, don't let the haters stop you from winning games. I know Grenier was pissing you off this week, so that's what you get, and you get banned for pissing off the top goalie in the AHL. Without further ado, that's it for this week's episode. Keep checking out the trades because there's still another full day of trade deadline to go through. It was Notorious Fat, Dudley Do Right, and De Young Puck, and we'll catch you guys next week with the end of week 7 recap. Peace.